Hey everybody, welcome back to another Krita class video. Today we're going to continue our series on text. However, we're going to be doing text on a path and text with shapes. This is completely new to Krita, and I want to make sure I do an extensive video on it because I was looking up some other videos and people were saying you can't do things with the new feature when you actually can, and I want to make sure you guys are equipped with as much accurate information as possible to avoid being told you can't do it when you can. So the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to make a couple of vector shapes. We're just going to do a square and a circle. I don't know why those are different colors, but they are. So we're going to keep them with no fill for now. And we're going to go to our text option here. We're just going to click or hover over the circle. As you can see, there's the line under the T that's text in the path. And then for inside the shape, it's going to be like a little leaf paper-ish icon, whatever you want to call that. You're going to click in there. I did go over this briefly in the very first video. Today we're going to go over all the fancy stuff with it. So now we have this little dot. If we move it up or down, we have the text either outside the circle here, or we have it on the inside. And as you can see on the inside, it becomes upside down. If it's on the top. If it's on the bottom, it's right side up, vice versa if it's on the outside. So we can go ahead and change that later with our text properties. And then for the place for text, it is on the wrong, not the wrong side, but it's on the right side of the box. If you want it to be on the left, we'll change that later as well. So this dot is going to change the spacing between the text and the border. I don't remember what the proper term is called. I want to say it's the gutter, but I don't think that's right. The padding. There we go. It's called the padding, I'm pretty sure. So we can change the padding of the text and the, what do you call it? The border there. You can see there's like a little line here, so we can help gauge what the line padding is going to be. We're gonna leave that alone for now. All right, so now we're gonna open up our text properties via the tool options. I'm just gonna go to paragraph. We're going to left justify that. You can also center it. Make sure that's highlighted. We can increase the font size. I'm just gonna do it like this for now. So here we have the shape padding. So if I manually adjust this, right-clicking on the value, remember, right-click on the numbers, don't left-click. If we do 15, we can reduce that. The shape margin doesn't really change much that I can see. So that's fine. I'm gonna reset that. Line height. So if we want to increase where this is going to start, left clicking just because I know where to click. So let's say we want to start it around there, and we can keep typing here, but every line is going to have that spacing, which isn't great. So we can change that later. So we set the line height. We want to go to the writing mode. I'm sorry, not writing mode. What we want to go to is the line height. We can change that. So we'll just say 50. So we'll go to, oops. So we modify that, and the line height is going to be 50 across the board. Put that back to 20 if we'd like. Then we can just increase the padding some more if you want it to be further down. We'll say 30, away from that border. Actually, going to increase the line height a little bit more. There we go. And then character, let's see, what do I want to change here? The letter spacing. There we go. So maybe we want it to fill in everything a little bit more. You don't want it to get cut off though, because you can see we went a little too far out of the line or the margin here and it disappeared. So we'll just keep it around here. That works. Beautiful. All right, so now back to the text in the path. So we went and clicked on this, and all of a sudden all those options disappeared because they don't exist for this text. So we're going to add that back in. We're going to go back to spacing. We're gonna say, we're gonna make this really wide just because we have enough space because it's wrapping around a circle. We're gonna increase the font size. I'm just gonna change the font to some random one that I shackled. Okay, well that works. So we can do the text align, but it doesn't really do anything because it's not within a confined space. It's just on this shape. So what we want to do is we want to go and change the position with this little blue dot so we can rotate it around. So if we want it on the inside, remember we can drag it so we can move the dot outside so the text is on the inside, and then move the blue dot on the inside so the text is on the outside, and then we can just rotate it around the shape here. So a lot of the options that we went over in the last video will work for this as well. So we can do direction, we can change how we want this portrayed. So placeholder text is being read left to right. If we do right to left, it just reverts it to the bottom half. We can work on the letter spacing, we can work on the word spacing, we can work on the writing mode, so we can do like change how the text is appearing on the line, like vertical, which is pretty cool. Might want to use it on a better shape, so if we did a straight line it would look better, but I digress. That's fine. And then we can just place it with whatever we need to as we would in a normal text paragraph. So I'm gonna just kind of close that now. So in previous videos, I would teach you how to modify the text so we could use it individually and basically customize it however we want. We can still do that within Krita, however, those options have definitely changed. And now that we can do these things on a line or a path or within a vector shape itself, we now have more options to modify the text than we did before. So this little icon here, I don't know what it's called. If we click on it, it turns blue. So now we want to click on our vector shape selector tool, this little icon up here. In our tool options, you can see things have changed. It is now no longer the text tool options, it is the shape tool options. And we can now modify the curvature of our path. Now, as you can see, by changing this, I am reducing the text that's showing because I'm changing the angle overall. So if I did like 50, I'm cutting this into an arc basically. It's no longer a full circle, so I don't have the space to put text on. Now the visual is pretty buggy. I'm not entirely sure how to fix that. However, I'm not going to worry about it right now. I'm going to hit undo. I'm going to close it, make sure it's a closed circle. Then I want to hit convert to path. If this were a typical vector shape, just a round vector shape without the text, this would be a normal route to go, to click on these points. And now, as I click on these points, that text is basically following along with that path. So if you want a crazy custom path, maybe you're working on a comic, maybe you're just trying out some fun, I don't know, maybe you just want to make a weird jelly bean or a map, or who knows, you just want to make some weird shape and you want to put text on it. You can do that. You don't have to make the shape original from scratch and then put the text on it. You can put a text or put the text on this plain circle or square, whatever it is you need to do, and then create your funky shape. This is such a game changer in Krita. This is what everyone has wanted for forever. And this, in my personal opinion, is the best route to go, because when you're working with text, especially with text on a shape like this, you want to be able to modify it and change the stroke and customize it to your full capacity. If you want a perfect curvature here, we can do that with their basic edit shape tools. Just like we would with a vector path. It's not anything new. So it looks like a text speech bubble now. That's cool. I'm gonna pretend like it is, sort of. Yeah, there we go. It's our little speech bubble. Words are in the wrong side, but that's okay. So we have that, right? Now here's where it gets a little bit more fun. The biggest issue that I saw people having, especially myself included, was getting rid of that stroke. I don't want that showing up in my final work. I just want the path to be the guide to put the text on. Now that we converted this to a path and we selected this little icon here, so we can only edit the shape, if we go to our tool options with our normal selector activated, and we go to the little line icon in the tab here, and we click on that X, we click off, we take that off, we now have our text without the path visible. And that's exactly what we would want. Now, if we want to go back and modify that path, you can see that if we change the line stroke, turn that back on, it's only adding a stroke to the text. That's not what we want. But if you click on this icon here, you can see that this little dotted line is showing up where our stroke was. We go back to our tool options, click on the solid color, first click on that, and then click on the solid color, and now our line comes back so we can see what we want to adjust with the edit shape tool. So this is extremely beneficial, and I want to make sure that you guys understand that you can go ahead and take the stroke away and hide it. You don't have to delete it. You can get it back if you'd like. I saw a lot of conflicting information in some videos saying you couldn't do that, which is totally not true. You can. So again, if you want to take the path out, you have to make sure this little box is on. It's blue. Go to your tool options with the path selected. Click on the little X. It's gone. If you want it back on, make sure this little blue icon or this little square icon is selected. Make sure to select your shape, and then you can turn it back on. If you want to change the color, you can still change the color. Turn that icon off so you don't edit that, and then you can go back to editing your text. So if you want to say, whoa, look at this. Oh my god, that's awful. Let's just do horizontal. Okay, there we go. I can go ahead and modify that. I can change it to be on the inside of the stroke, on the outside. I can go and modify it just like I would the typical vector shape, except now, again, I have made a custom shape by using this little icon here. So double click on that, and I can just change this like that. Doing, and I'm like, oh, this positioning of the text isn't great. I'm gonna go back to editing the text. That, click on the little dot here. Well, there, we're done. So you can go ahead and modify that stroke to your heart's content. There are no restrictions that I found. It's exactly how, it operates exactly how I would expect it to. So we're gonna go back to our little text within a shape now, do the same thing. We're going to click on our little vector shape tool, convert to path. Oops, I have to select it first and then convert to path, my bad. And now we can click on it, and we just want to modify this square a little bit. Maybe we want to, I don't know why I would have it like this, but I do. Because I have my padding so high, I want to go back and modify that. So we're going to go back to our text tool here. And we're going to highlight our text, and we're going to reduce our padding to something small. So I reduced my shape padding just a little bit. I'm going to actually expand that. Actually, so we have to make sure that we have enough space for all the lettering, right? So if you were working with a word balloon, you would want to use this padding within your shape. Of course, that requires a little bit more extensive work in terms of putting your text and aligning it so it looks good. This is not a normal shape you would want to put text in, but it's there. And you would go back and you would change your whatever options you basically want with this, like you would anything else. So you can do all caps, you can do all lowercase, you can do just capitalize the first of every letter, you can do full width, all sorts of fun stuff. Again, if you want to go back and edit the shape, we can do that by clicking on this little icon and modify it, and the text will go along with it. If you want to round that off for whatever reason, we can. Make this weird, I don't know what's happening here. It's weird shapes. Perfect. If we want to change the fill color, we can also do that. Fill that in. Choose a color that's not gonna blend in with your text color would be good. And now we have text in a shape with the filled in shape color. And we can go back and still edit text how we want. If we want, we can manually change the spacing. Voila. So that's basically what editing your text looks like with paths and shapes. All right, so we want to edit this, make these individual vector shapes instead of a solid text line here. It's a little funky, but it's always been that way in Krita. It's kind of similar to what we did before in my earlier videos. We gotta do a little bit of ungrouping, a little bit of work, no big deal. So first, we need to convert this to a path. The second we do that, that little box is gone. It will never come, it's not coming back unless you hit undo. Okay, it's gone. We're gonna right click and hit ungroup. So we have our shape here that we made, the stroke, and that's still there, but our text disappeared, right? We're gonna click and drag that spot. There's still something there. If we go to our fill and turn that back on, there's our text, it is back. For some reason it takes the fill off, I'm not entirely sure why, but your text is still there. So now we can go back to our edit shapes tool, and these are individual vector shapes. So now if we wanted to, we could take our letters and move them around even further. Do some, I don't know, if you wanted to do some crazy stuff, who knows? There's always a reason, and sometimes there is no reason, you don't need a reason. So there, now we can go ahead and modify that even further based off that stroke. The only downfall again, you can't put that text back on the stroke, it is gone. So if you want to keep a base to always work from or to revert to later on for whatever reason, duplicate it, make a copy, put it on its own vector layer so you always have something to go back to as your starting point, because once we get into this territory, you're not going back to what this is. This icon is never coming back, you can't bring it back. So I'm going to go back here. Oops, there we go. So we can go ahead and let's say maybe we want the A to be just, I don't know why we'd want this, but maybe we do. We go ahead and edit those letters individually, just like we could before. So yes, you can still convert your modified shape, your modified text in a path or a shape, separate it out and put it back into individual vector shapes to go crazy with later. So the videos that I have that talk about special effects with your words, you can still do all of that. How you do it just changed ever so slightly with the new update. So we do that with the shape here. Like maybe you just like the placement of the text within the shape, it's beautiful, for whatever reason you want to keep going and you want to modify it further with individual text layers or individual vector shapes for the letters. We go back to our little tool here, convert to path. Oops, sorry, I'm going to convert to path. We look at this, we ungroup it, move our shape over here, and then turn the fill back on. And now we have individual shapes for our little letters. It's beautiful. So that's it for this video. So my suggestion for your homework would be to create a couple different paths, whether a custom stroke with the Bezier curve or using a pre-made shape. Modify that with text on it and see what you can come up with. Maybe you want to do a nice wavy line with text on it, or some crazy jagged like lightning bolt with text on it. Go crazy, there's no limitation. Try it out. Modify the size of the font itself, font family, the direction, and separate it out at the end like we just did. That way you know how to separate the stroke so that if you are working in either a graphic design piece or making a quick thumbnail, for example, or even doing comics, you know that if you don't need that stroke anymore, you can just hide it or just separate it and delete it later, depending on what you would like to do personally. So that's really all your homework is. And that's it for this video. If you know someone who's new to Krita and they really struggle with text in the path or shapes and they don't know what to do or how to use it, definitely give them this video. If you have questions, they are more than welcome to ask me in the comments below. And as always, I do my best to answer them or make a video on it. If you liked this video, make sure to like it. And that's it for the text series for now. And we'll move on to other features within Krita in the next video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.